The reason that I'm dressed like this today is not because the children have been ganging up on me and giving me a black eye. They did give me it, but we're having a fun day at the Grove today, so that's why I'm dressed as a pirate and I let the kids loose. So it's not real. Right, well, like I said, first of all, we rang up and we were told, and a social worker came out to see us and just basically did the outline of what fostering was all about. And we were significantly interested and we enrolled on a course. Came here, had a meeting about it, and some of what was said at the meeting I did think, oh, is that for us? But no, we pushed on and came. And the training was, the Skills to Foster course was brilliant. It was really good. And, you know, it's not, some people might think, oh, I don't know if that's for me, shall I do it? And start on the course thinking they're committed. But it isn't, because this course shows you so much about fostering and the negative sides as well, so that by the time you are getting your first placement, you know, you do have a good all-round vision of what it's going to be like.
We just wanted to give a child, you know, a better chance of a family life.
We had a lot of space and a lot of time on our hands, and my niece was giving us a bit of a push and saying that we should do something constructive and valuable, so we took her advice.
When we got into our 50s, we'd done all sorts of things. Our house was just nice. Our son had just qualified and felt a little bit empty in our home. So a friend who was a social worker said, had you thought about fostering? And we hadn't, and we took it from there.
And as a family, I've got 3 birth children of my own, young ones and a 16-year-old, and I think it's made them, you know, better kids in a way. I think they're going to grow up and they consider others. Their teachers at school tell me that they're very considerate children, they're very caring children, they share. So I think it has a massive benefit.
The bigger the challenge, the more you get out of it very often. And we've had lots of examples I could give you, but if I talk about one little chap came to us, he'd been peeled off his mother in unfortunate circumstances, and he cried for 4 hours when he came to us. And the next day we were doing some work on my son's home. He was moving out, and I gave him a hammer and asked him to hammer in this nail, and he started on it, and then I asked him to go and fetch this and fetch that. Then we went off to Wickes to get a few nails and what have you. He absolutely beamed when he got in the car. He kept making excuses to go to Wickes. He loved helping. He just loved it. He loved going in the car. I don't think he'd ever been in a car before. And so the satisfaction from that boy crying for 4 solid hours to the end of the week, not wanting to leave us, wonderful. Absolutely
when he first
wonderful.
came, he just held his shoes and stood there and said, I want to go home, and cried. He wouldn't get ready for bed or go into his pyjamas. He went to bed asleep in his clothes because he was happy doing that. And then the turnaround within less than 24 hours. And that's when you know you've done some good and you've helped that child.
The behaviour that some people may think is irrational or challenging, there's a reason behind it. You know, it's not because that child is naughty, I hate that word. It's because they're resilient and they're changing and very brave, and the need to make these changes and the need to express themselves to move on, really.
I'm not going to lie and say that there isn't hard times, because there are hard times. You know, kids, you know, they don't come wrapped up in pink and blue bows and all coochie coo. You know, they've had troubled times, you know, and it's difficult to build that trust up, and it's a hard work, but the rewards are amazing. You know, my kids are my kids, and that includes, I've got 3 children in foster care, and you know, they are our children and they're part of our family, and if you like kids, if you enjoy having the company of children, it's great. It really is great.
It just gives you so much pleasure. It's challenging, no day's the same, you know, but great fun.
Yeah, we've had tremendous amount of fun.
You talk to the office staff, and the office staff are brilliant, and if you say it's important that I get in touch, they will get you to your family placement officer, or they'll get you to his supervisor, or they'll get you to the boss. If it's important, it'll happen. And we've had absolutely no problems. Every time we've had an issue, it's been addressed.
Sometimes we just need somebody to just kind of have a cup of tea and say, it's okay, you're doing all right, and everybody's always been there for us on that side of things. So, you know, it is a good sort of support network here, definitely.
My advice to anybody considering taking up fostering is to go for it. Consider your circumstances, think about what age group you might want to look after, think about if there's other issues with children that you might be interested in helping them with. Take it all into account, but I'd go for it. It's so rewarding.
we also really wanted to get involved for older children. That was something that was close to our hearts, and fostering was mentioned. We came, social worker saw us, and we've never looked back since, really, about 4 years later.
Can I just say one more thing? The reason I'm wearing this silly shirt and have a pirate's hat is because it's a family fun day at the Grove for all the children in care. So I hope you'll pardon me looking a bit foolish.
Wow.
War.